It would help if I unmuted myself. There we go. Yes, thank you. I will be talking about a little command line tool that I have been writing. I am Michael Andrec. I work for my primary affiliation is with the Ukrainian History and Education Center in New Jersey. I'm also do some work for the Shevchenko Scientific Society in New York City. For this presentation, I'm assuming that you are comfortable with a Unix-like terminal, know some basics about shell commands, including standard input, output, and piping, and that you've used the command line application before. I do not know if this works for Windows subsystem for Linux, for those of you Windows people, because I haven't tried it. What is this? Well, basically, I was fed up with having like stacks of mostly non-reusable little Python scripts that I wrote for miscellaneous things that were just cluttering up my hard drive and being a waste. I wanted to sort of unify some of those basic tasks under one command line application, so I wouldn't have to keep rewriting things. And also, this is sort of an alternative to spreadsheet importers that we heard a lot about this morning for smaller scale tasks. I have implemented some things. I am using some of this in production. Part of my motivation for this talk is to solicit feedback. So how do we install this? You can basically, it is not on PyPI. For those of you who know Python, it is written in Python. It is on GitHub. And basically, you will need to install it directly from GitHub. I recommend using UV for those of, and that gives you some information about how to the command for how to do that. Then I am now going to do a live demo. Famous last words. So let me go to. You all see my terminal. Is this big enough font size? Let me know if this is too small. So basically, the first thing you need to do is you need to create or edit a .archivesnake.yaml file in your home directory. My tool uses ArchivesSnake. So at minimum, you need to know the base URL for the API endpoint of your repository, of your ArchivesSpace instance, and a username and a password. In this case, I'm using the sandbox instance. So we can do really basic, so we can just run something like this, and this will give you an overview. I'm not going to go through all of this, but we can do really basic things like get all of our repositories, for example. And there's two of them. We can get information on a resource. We can pull the JSON corresponding to a resource. We can specify the ID of the resource, the repository. And I'm going to pipe this into more just so we can see it. Hello? Okay, famous last words. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, of course. We need to get. There we go. Okay, so Richard Sandhold collection, and you can see all of the dates and all of the abstract and all of the notes, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what if you're using one repository all the time? Well, we can set a default repository. So we can do asp cache repository 2. Oh, set. I don't know my own program. There we go. So now, instead of doing, I now no longer need to set the repository ID, and I get everything. And in fact, I don't even need this ID. It uses positional arguments. Okay, so what's the point of this? Well, I could pipe this into, I could redirect this into a text file, edit it, and use asp resource update to update a resource, for example. We can also do this with containers. Container get 123, and there's information about a container. I can edit that container. I can edit some of the properties of that container. For example, say this doesn't have a barcode. I wanted to add a barcode. 123 barcode. Give it a random barcode. There we go, updated. And now if I get the container, it now has a barcode. Okay, I can create containers. Container create, just so you can see what this looks like. So we can specify, so we have to have an indicator because that's the only thing that ArchivesSpace requires for a container is an indicator. We can have a container type, barcode, profile, etc. So let's create a container. Create. Oh, well, first of all, let me show you this. So if we have a profile, so if we want to specify a container profile, but we don't remember our profile IDs, so I can get the profile, asp container profile list. There's all the container profiles that are defined. So say I wanted oversized storage type 3, that's number 5. So now I can say asp container create container type box, oops, indicator 456, profile 5. Okay, there it is. Now it returned a number. 364 is actually the container identifier number, and we will possibly need to use that. So, for example, if I wanted to, I could now, for example, add a container to an instance in a resource. So if I go here, I'm going to use this one here because I thought it was amusing, the Hello Kitty papers. Let's say I wanted to add that resource, add that instance add that container as an instance to this archival object, ribbon. Now I need to know the identifier of that, and it's actually up here in the URL, 7612. So I can go back to here. I can now do asp resource instance add object ID 7612 container ID 364. That's what was just returned, and I can do things like type 2 folder in. I can't see what I'm typing. That's good. Cater 2 is, say, 19. Good. So now I can go back to here, refresh, and we should have 2 instances. There we go, 456, it's there. I can do something more interesting, and I can create a container and attach it as an instance in one fell swoop. So I can create, let's see, indicator 789. I can pipe that into asp resource instance add 7612. Boom. Okay. If I go back here, refresh, there should be one more instance here under ribbon. There it is. Okay. And I can do even more complicated things, but in the interests of time, I'm going to stop here with my demo and just wrap up very quickly. Hopefully I'm not running, oh dear, I'm running late. I'm very sorry. Is this a good idea? Please let me know. You can reach out to me on GitHub. You can message me on the Slack's Code for Lib or Archivists Working with Archival Data, or just email me. I will put my address in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is this a good idea? Let me know is a wonderful way to end the presentation. That was great. And for those of us that were watching, we can